boy. Hopefully people.
Twitch has accepted the pre-show.
Oh, great.
Hello, pre-show. Welcome to our.
Well, yeah, to our show.
YouTube has accepted the pre-show.
All right.
Hello, YouTube.
Hi.
And Facebook has accepted the pre-show.
That's good. Hello, viewers of Think Twice Radio on Facebook.
I'm going to reset the timer.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, when you are ready, you have the. Oh, I got to adjust
the iris.
John's iris.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
it will come up on Think Twice here.
Today's show, we're talking about the Colonel.
Ooh, Colonel Roosevelt. Whoa, what a guy.
Yeah, you've adjusted the iris properly.
Okay, I'm going to share this.
Oh, look at that. You look beautiful.
Thank you, Richard.
All right. Okay. I'm
Executive producer.
add to,
And I can record myself recording myself.
Very meta. Okay, so when you're ready, do you have a number 5
See,
button
button.
on there?
all right.
Are you all set, John?
All right. Let's see. I think I just shared it. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
All
Here we
right.
go. I'm going to hit the button.
Okay.
Here we go. Ready? Hello, Think Twice Radio, and welcome to another episode of Small Talk with Matt and John.
I'm John.
And I'm Matt, and this is our show, Small Talk,
Yeah. Yeah.
where we talk about useless trivials such as Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah. Theodore Roosevelt, and we might even talk a little bit about the Epstein files later. Who knows?
Yes, and the Buffalo Contrarian. I'm the newest
Yeah.
beat writer for the Buffalo Contrarian,
Yeah.
which is a new political newspaper,
Yeah. That's pretty exciting.
which kind of ties into Teddy Roosevelt a bit. So,
Because Teddy Roosevelt had his fingers in all sorts of pies.
yeah. I think I maybe want to start as this week, actually. On Monday, I was participating in a direct action against the Lero group.
Oh, okay.
So, city of Buffalo is building a police firing range
Okay.
in the parking lot of this community center by the
Yeah.
central terminal on the east side.
Yeah.
So I've been involved with this group called LOLA, which is Liberation for One, Liberation for All.
Yeah.
And they're trying to stop this community center from being turned into a police shooting range.
Yeah.
So on Monday, we did a campaign where we delivered some letters from the community to Lero.
Yeah.
And I actually got there a little early, so this is the corner of Delaware and North. And I went to the Starbucks there and got a Starbucks and sat down. And this was, I think, the best view. This is a really cool moment I think I'll always remember. I sat down in the window of the Starbucks and looked across at the Theodore Roosevelt historical
Yeah.
site because Teddy Roosevelt was actually inaugurated president of the United States here in Buffalo.
Oh,
So I'm in this Starbucks just looking out, and there's this statue of Teddy Roosevelt on the lawn of the actual building where he was inaugurated. And then we walked into just a couple blocks over to the Lero group where we delivered some letters, and it was I kind of just meditated on Theodore Roosevelt there for a little bit because there was about 20 minutes where I was a little early, and it was just kind of thinking about Teddy Roosevelt, and I think me doing the direct action was kind of something Teddy was. So now when I think about it, I was like, oh, I was like, the statue was facing where we were going too. So it's almost like as we were doing this direct action, the shadow or the spirit of Teddy Roosevelt was watching over us. So
Yeah.
Teddy Roosevelt's called the Bull Moose. I don't know if you know much about Teddy Roosevelt, but
Yeah. I always heard about that. Like he ran a third party, which I'm fascinated with, called the Bull Move, but it didn't. Yeah, it unfortunately didn't. But it's cool.
There's a lot, but I think the coolest thing about Buffalo is that he became president here. So the assassination of William McKinley led to Theodore Roosevelt becoming president. So actually, he was Theodore Roosevelt was hunting in the Adirondacks.
Yeah.
I want to say it was Tupper Lake or somewhere near there, and he actually had to hop on a train and come to Buffalo because the president was assassinated.
Yeah.
So, he was, became president, and kind of his maybe origin story as American president started right here in Buffalo in the historic site. And I have to go there because I don't think I've been there since before the thing, but they have a whole museum just about Teddy Roosevelt. So it's a cool Buffalo connection.
I'll have to visit that someday.
I want to go. So I think, maybe we can go together and check it out. And it'll be
really.
Because he's a really interesting guy. Not just he was president, like you said, he ran a third. He was a sickly child. After his presidency, he went and he explored the Amazon.
That was amazing too. Yeah, and there was a murder on like in the party.
Yeah, many murders. And I actually read
Yeah.
there's a book about. So I've read a couple chapters about his life in the Rio of Doubt or the
River of Doubt.
because this is a different time where he was literally no one had been down the Amazon before, at least Westerners, to map it out.
Yeah.
And I think the modern America, the kind of, I kind of say that the right now we're this world power, we're conquering everything, right? We're invading countries, we're doing things that kind of is almost been a perverted. Teddy Roosevelt was really the one that I think that started to put that in motion, because when Teddy Roosevelt, he was the president at the beginning of the 19th century.
Yeah.
At that point, the United States had really been a former colony state, had minded his business, and it was really Teddy Roosevelt who said, "No, actually, we're going to expand our influence."
And
in
he
the
really,
Western
like
Hemisphere.
in the Spanish-American War, he really jumped the gun. Like I heard that he was like an undersecretary or something in the Navy, and what I heard is like he was like the undersecretary, like he had the undersecretary. He was sick or something briefly, and Teddy took over and he initiated things. He sent troops to Hong Kong to get him ready, like in case there was like a fight with Spain, and he really kind of initiated the Spanish-American War.
Yeah, that's a chapter that I'm not. He's such a he's literally a character that's a part of his life. I know he was, because he was even when he was an adult. His mom and his wife actually died on the same day.
That's what's called a triple Batman, or double Batman rather.
Oh. And then, after that period, he literally went to like the Badlands of North Dakota and just like lived like himself, like a rancher. So it's like he was like this character that like, and I think Leonardo DiCaprio was I think they were, and Scorsese were planning some sort of Theodore Roosevelt movie, because he deserves like an 8-part series.
He went to the West, they were saying too, even the tough cowboys at first, they were like, "Who is this out?" And it was like, wow, he's pretty alpha even for tough cowboys.
And I think that's kind of coming back to the thing about this action. It was like Teddy Roosevelt was all about action, right? I think he looked like kind of a geek, and he was in a lot of ways, but he was also like a doer. He was, I think the Special American War, he was like at the head of the army. He wasn't just some general or some elitist that was at the back. He was, when he was to the balance, he was ranching. He was doing it.
And he started off as a fragile boy, like I did. But then he became even more out. He was like a sickly, like effeminate, like
he was a little kind of a pansy boy. And I think he was sick with something. And at one point, his doctor said, "Teddy, you'll never be able to don't exercise." And he kind of took the opposite approach. And he had this quote he said, "I will make my body." So he kind of just completely just. And I think he speaks a lot to like kind of the human mindset of like just doing and.
And he was into boxing. He was boxing while he was president. He was like punching guys, and he let guys punch him.
Yeah, and then there was also this kind of takes me of my friend recently invited me to be the new beat writer for the Buffalo Contrarian.
Oh, cool! Right.
But one chapter of my life that I read about was his actual stint as the New York City Police Commissioner.
Yeah.
So he was he was a politician, right? So he served in the New York Assembly. At one point, he was the New York State Police Commissioner, and he had this friend Jacob Reese, and they would. It's one of the quotes I think has always impacted my life, or kind of how I thought of things. Like, I want to do that. But him and Jacob Reese, they would go out in the middle of the night. So there's the New York City Police Commissioner. He'd go out, at midnight, 2 a.m. to the sleaziest parts of New York City where there's prostitution, drug dealing, gambling, that type of stuff. And he would literally try to find officers that were asleep at their posts, not doing their job.
Yeah.
He had this quote that him and Jacob Reese, who was an investigative reporter, they would go out seeking bullies just to defy them for sport.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's badass. Of like this dude seeking out bullies. So not shying away them, but seeking them out just to defy them, just for the fun of it. And I think that was when I heard that, I was like, I want to do that. That's kind of reading about it, like a story. I was like, I want to defy bullies for sports. That sounds because there would be times where he would approach these police officers in plainclothes, and the police officers, obviously not knowing who he was, would either get agitated or start to put him in his place, and he'd go, well, actually, I want to see you. I want you to visit me in my office at 8 a.m. So it was this, and he was really, as New York City police commissioner, he was like trying to fight corruption. He in his mind
actually
thought,
was
I am
trying
going
to
to stop I am going to clean everything up, which was.
And most of the time, when you hear about any politician doing anything at 2 a.m, like going into the bad part of town, he's still going there looking for prostitutes.
Yeah,
and
he
drugs.
And I think even his stint as a third run, he genuinely authentically was like speaking for the working class normal Americans. And I think there's just not much of that in the current politics. I couldn't even really think of a politician, whether it's Trump or anyone in the Democratic Party, that is genuinely authentically fighting for working people.
And another thing, he took a bullet. He got shot in the chest, and he continued. He did an hour-long speech. He got shot in the chest. The actual bullet, it did deflect off of something, but it was lodged in his ribs permanently. After that, he kept on doing the speech. He was like, "Oh, I got shot." He was.
Yeah, he continued his speech. I think he said it will take more than that to take down a bull moose. So he literally continued his speech. And just when you read him out, it's like, is this a real human being? Because even I read the book about his adventures in the Amazon. Just the whole idea that after running for a third term of office, he went and he explored the Amazon. And the Amazon was actually kind of the death of him. He didn't die there immediately, but he suffered,
knocked him down.
Yeah, what he experienced there ultimately led him to expiring earlier. Because he experienced some sickness, and that documentary or that book that I read was also very interesting about that life of this president that just went and explored. He could have set up a presidential library and done nothing, but he wasn't interested. He was interested in going to the frontiers and going to explore.
And it was part of too. He had an intellectual interest in nature. He was a naturalist. Like from when he was a kid, he would like have his own little collection of animals, and he would like to. He
taxidermy.
Did it.
He was into taxidermy.
Yeah, he would hunt not just for sport, but also for science, for like getting samples of animals.
Yeah,
and trying to.
I think he legitimately wrote textbooks. So he actually wrote there. He was an author, and he was a voracious reader and writer.
Yeah.
So he was actually writing books about, and even the time he
Good
was
books. Yeah.
I think at one point before politics, he was actually considering just being a naturalist and just studying the environment. Because it was, I think, he was known for carrying all sorts of dead animals into his house, and part of his adventure in the Amazon was to document and make new discoveries. There's just right. He's this at this point now. We're almost 100 years plus. He's more of a myth than anything. I just can't even really think of anyone present day that is even somewhat in the just the uniqueness of the character.
Like when he went out west, that was like a mysterious. Like at the time, the West, it was an untamed area, and he kind of got frustrated when we finally did kind of. The saying we did kind of secure the West, and then he did turn his mind internationally. Like we had conquered, the Americas, and then they were saying that his thought process was more like, oh, now we have to start competing with other imperial powers.
Yeah,
he
was the kind of one, like I said, that thought that America has a place on the world stage, and he was really intent on protecting the Western Hemisphere, which now even Trump is starting to evoke some of these kind of things of the Western. When you think about the United States, really, we should be focused on Western Hemisphere and securing South America. Because even Teddy, he was responsible for building the Panama Canal. So he had a very he was really, I think, the first president to view the U.S. and really think and push for us to have powers at the world stage. And I think the Europeans, he went on some trips there, but he was widely popular in Europe too, because he was really a phenomenon of his time, and even still is.
And what was I going to say? Another thing too. Once he kind of helped start the Spanish-American War. He got into it. He left the Navy, and he joined the Army, and he created the Rough Riders.
Yeah,
which is an insane thing. He got tough guys like him, maniacs. And I heard a lot of them were like Native American guys because he had a lot of respect for the Native Americans, and he engaged in battle. He engaged. Where he went up San Juan Hill. I know that I heard the story of it. It was brave. It's brave stuff. And he took, he went uphill and fought uphill, and he was like, and he led guys. He was like at the front.
Yeah, that just doesn't surprise me. And the Rough Riders. I think that why I enjoy him so much. He's my favorite president, is because there's so many chapters of his life. So I still have yet to dig into the Rough Riders. Yeah. But when you're saying that, he was at the head of the army. Of course he was. He was not going to be the general in the back doing the strategy. He was going to be doing the strategy and, okay, boys, let's go get him, and he'd be at the front of the. And he was very hell bent on justice, and I think that just kind of like I said, he genuinely cared about the working class and using his abilities, and whether it was police commissioner fighting corruption, just building ranches on the Badlands, or fighting as a Rough Rider.
And it was another thing. It was unique that he actually did do stuff for the middle class because he was not from the middle class. He did actually, like he broke up the oil companies, or he went across. I think it was the
Yeah.
Rockefellers.
Well, he was anti-monopoly, antitrust, but like you said, he grew up in a very wealthy elite,
Yeah.
Elite family. The Roosevelts was a famous, very rich family in New York City.
Yeah, and he like no Republican would do that today. You know, it's it's insane to think that he did stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, and the Bulmos Party it was a very progressive party. That time, I think he was a Republican, so the Republican Party was the progressive, and he even pushed that a little more. And the Bulmos was a very progressive. The race of 1912, the political race or the presidential race.
Yeah.
Because he was wildly popular, and the
I
fact that
would like a bull moose party.
Yeah,
Come back today.
I'd love to be a member of the Bull Moose Party.
Yeah, bull moose candidate. Yeah.
Because the term bull moose is he was also popular in the press. He was in lots of cartoons. The cartoonists really enjoyed him because he was such a spectacle. There was always something to write about as a cartoonist.
I heard too. He kind of wrestled a cougar or something.
Probably.
There's a story where he was like he actually had grabbed it and like put it in a chokehold, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his trip in the Amazon was fascinating to read about too, because he was just exploring with a crew guys, and there was all sorts of immunities, and he almost died there. And he explored the Amazon, which is like to get on a boat as a president and just go into an uncharted. Which is also his downfall because he was just a huge. I don't want to say risk taker, but he was very bold, and I think that at that time he may have overestimated. The forces that he was battling.
The Amazon. I'm against. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to the Amazon anytime soon. Especially like he had to make their own boats and stuff. And
which is
Yeah.
Something I did. The fact I knew that if your boat sprung leak, you would just fell a tree and make a new boat. It was like, oh, that's
and also you could starve and die and get diseases in the Amazon.
Yeah, which is thinking they ran into a lot of. I think they miscalculated their route and. But they were also like bringing tax. Part of it was he was collecting things. So they were like carrying things and food. You had to bring all your supplies with you. And
and I heard he had to. The guy he went with, there was some priest, and the priest was kind of a jerk. He wanted like the Indians to carry him on a chair.
Yeah.
And Roosevelt was like, no, we're not doing that. And and the priest was like a real piece of work, and he had to put him down. The priest wanted to be carried on a chair by the Indians, and he was like, well, this is what Indians do. And Roosevelt was like, get out of here.
Those are the things that while he was a member of the elite class, he didn't really kind of act that way.
Yeah. I that's what I heard too. Is like even he befriended there's stories from these cowboys who were like, he's a good old cowboy. And even there was a guy, and when he was a marshal, there was a guy that he captured. He like three guys stole a boat, and he pursued him, and he pursued him like an old cowboy in the cowboy days, and he captured him, and then instead of like just shooting him or killing him, or he did justice. It took like he was awake the whole time, I guess, like 4 days where he kept the guys at gunpoint, and he brought them back to jail where they faced trial. But they said years later, the one criminal they caught would write him because they kind of became friends.
Yeah,
because he was such a
I can imagine because I think people where they met him, he was just a genuine force of nature, and people kind of all walks of life. Yeah, the American people adored him, and they he was in the media, and I think especially where we're connecting to today, where we are, like he's very responsible. I think him and FDR, FDR is kind of the expansion of the administrative state, but I think what we've become now with this administrative state with imperial ambitions, really, FDR or Theodore Roosevelt and FDR, those two combined had a huge influence. And Theodore Roosevelt, the whole globalist imperial empire, that philosophy, has kind of been perverted because when he first started, it was very much a kind of we need to believe in ourselves type of thing. Where now it's kind of escalated to we're the bully now. Whereas Theodore Roosevelt's day was more about punching above our weight class and making a name for ourselves in the world. Whereas, just over the course of 100 years, the whole imperialist.
Yeah.
I just think if Theodore Roosevelt was alive today, he'd probably be fighting America in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because he was very idealist as well. So
I think he would be against a lot of like money in politics, and well, if we get to the Epstein thing, how easily we are manipulated by other countries,
yeah,
whether it's Russia or Israel. Like I think other countries have figured us out that like, yeah, we put some money in, well, especially with Trump, but it's kind of obvious that Israel has been really pulling a lot of strings for a long time.
man, you've been deep in the Epstein. I have a friend that's been sending me updates, but I'm interested. What is going on with the Epstein files?
Basically, it's as evil. Like I always had these in the back of my head, like how creepy can Trump actually be? I've always had these dark ideas of what was actually going on with him, and it very well could be true. It's like it's weird. It's like the QAnon stuff was like kind of a reflection of what took place at the Epstein House, which makes me think was it an unconscious like myth created unconscious, or was it astroturfed kind of as a propaganda? Because it seems like
Are you referring to the whole pizza?
the whole
stuff?
pizza game, because they were talking about like children being held captive and stuff like that. But the reality was this guy took thousands of young women from all over the world, got them onto this island, and young underage girls, and coerced them into sex. And some of them disappeared. There's there's also there's an email where he talks to a friend of his in Russia. Like, oh, this girl is threatening to talk about exposing the whole island. Can you do something about her?
But there's because at least the way I've perceived things is that there's a general thought that perhaps Ghislaine Maxwell, whose father Robert Maxwell was an Israeli spy.
Yeah.
It was part Epstein. The whole idea that Epstein was just the tip of an iceberg, and it wasn't. I think the way it's been portrayed is Epstein was this sexual mastermind that was doing it, but really he was kind of one piece of a larger apparatus or machine that appears to be some sort of like political blackmailing kind of thing.
But also, like it seemed like the Russians may have been in on it too. But also, there's also evidence that like maybe our FBI was like they were trading in. It's like like the whole pile of spaghetti hasn't been put together yet. It's like it was a lot of.
It's clearly very political. Clearly, the reason Epstein was interacting with these powerful figures was to compromise them and then control them, and who was operating, or that it was just more than Epstein. I think the thought too is maybe the reason Epstein was killed is because maybe he was going to speak out, and I think he's kind of viewed as like the ringmaster. But I think the more interesting thought is, what if he wasn't? What if he was just one of the underbosses, and there's someone higher up the food chain that he would expose, right? Because where'd all that film going? How is that being actually?
Where
right?
is
If
now?
Epstein had the library of all the clips, who and where were those clips being deployed? And I have the joke. Now I have the joke that all my jokes are now becoming reality, but I have the joke that when we were kids, you learned about democracy and the three branches of government, and you think, oh, my representative like looks like me and cares about me, and when he's debating policies, he's thinking about what's in the best interest of me. And that's what we learned. And the reality is more closer that no, actually, someone has compromising footage of your representative. And they say, elected official, if you vote this way on the next bill, or else that clip of you and the 6-year-old girl, I'm going to expose you, type of thing. That's closer to the reality of power than what we were kind of taught in school.
And on top of that, there's legal bribery in our country where corporations can give money to a campaign. So there's all these other things, and but it's just
who are some of the the new troves come out? So what's the newest revelations?
Well, there's one lawyer who is involved. There's one lawyer. There's what's the Peter Thiel?
Yeah,
he was involved.
That's where I started to parse out. Yeah, who? Right, because he was interacting with lots of wealthy and influential people. But so who was he? who was in on it, who was compromised. Who
Elon was one
not.
of them.
But-
It's some of them too. It seems like they all kind of knew what was going on.
Yeah, well, Jeffrey Epstein was convicted in Florida of sex crimes, right? So there was this whole period before that I could see, okay, you didn't know, but after he got convicted, and then there was a whole thing where he kind of just got off his charges on a slap on the wrist. That he at that point he was a convicted sex offender, and people still welcome him back into elite circles.
I think it was Trump's lawyer who was. I don't know if you saw him on TV. He's like, "Oh, I met Epstein once, and he gave me a tour of his house." And he said it so convincingly too. It's like, and then he showed me this massage chair, and he said it's for a certain kind of massage. And he was like, later I looked at my wife and I'm like, I'm not going to have anything to do with this disgusting man. And he said, like, and then of course, when the files come out, it turns out after he made that statement, he took his family there. He was still chummy with them.
Yeah.
And
well, there was the whole, why was there's a picture of Bill Clinton in a women's dress that Epstein had a picture of.
Yeah, I heard, it sounds like he was like kind of like frat boys. They were doing frat boy kind of stuff.
That's the whole thing is like Trump and Bill Clinton were both buddy with Epstein. So I think it just speaks to the general, the elites are kind of chum amongst themselves.
Yeah. Now, what I heard is that, Bill was there doing bad stuff, but he was probably doing bad stuff with women like Monica.
But who knows? I mean, the Monica was just one pattern, but I'm sure he was at the island.
Yeah.
Where did he draw the line? Would he go, I will not do anyone under the age of 18? That's
unethical.
Was he? I'm pretty sure, if you were that drunk on power, I'm sure if you were in anyone, of that ilk, if you were at Epstein Island, come on, Well, that comes back to your point of, I think even some of the QAnon, they have this theory that, the elites, do child sacrifice and have. But it's like, if you have this massive operation where you abuse the children, you don't just then put them back into society, right? You, especially kind of the same way that the Catholic Church, right? They were abusing orphans, right? The most vulnerable children in the entire planet.
And too, they're saying a lot of these girls. This was another girl saying that when she went there, a lot of the girls were foreign girls. These were girls from other countries. So from like Russian countries or or Slavic or whatever, and so they couldn't even speak English, and God only knows what happened to them. Or like if we had better reporters, could go to other countries, try to find these women.
That's been part of the interesting thing of the Epstein files. Of when Biden was in office, nobody was talking about the Epstein files, and then. Once Trump came out, then all of a sudden CNN was like reporting on the Epstein files. It's like, whoa, you people care about the Epstein. But then even CNN only talks about the Epstein in that Trump was involved in Epstein, which is true. But I think that kind of reporting kind of takes away from the fact that, like, no, the Epstein was bigger than Trump and Epstein. Like, Trump was one player of, it's more about this whole base of power that was involved. So it's kind of like to report just, Trump's involved in the scene is the thing, but it kind of distracts from the fact that he was just one of the players, and it was this larger operation.
And they are pointing out that legacy media isn't in as much into this. It doesn't seem to be covering this as intensely. And some people theorize that it's because of Israeli influence, that the people are just, which it looks like the spies actually pulled some major spy stuff, But I don't want to get anti-Semitic because it does seem like they really
but you can see how that goes. When clearly Israel is like influencing our foreign policy. You can see how, and I think my understanding is they've kind of seen we can influence with money donations to politicians and we can control. And it does seem on the left or the right, the one opinion that you can't have is that you're against the genocide in Gaza, that you oppose Israel, right?
Yeah.
Nobody on either side. That's like the one. So I think a lot of times it's very telling what position is no one allowed to have, and that position will not find it. There's nowhere in the political spectrum, amongst the establishment political spectrum that even says that you can oppose Israel because Israel just donates to everyone. And then like you could see how this, especially when you have American citizens who's and you saw a little bit about. I don't know if you were following the Somalian fraud thing of a YouTuber went to.
I heard about it,
to a child care facility, multiple child care facilities, and showed that there was just facilities that were nowhere are, and he was kind of blaming Somalians. And you can just see how you can see how some of the same things that started like World War II or even concentration camps, how some of those flames of
Yeah.
people that just want to blame one group,
Yeah.
and it's very easy to blame Somalians, they're frauds, go after them, or blame the Jews.
Yeah.
Like it's very easy to play people's emotions and get
Yeah.
them targeted when really the world's much more complex than
Yeah.
and there's who's the philosopher that says that the evil cuts through the hearts of all men. So his kind of ideas are like he wishes there was a group of evil men somewhere doing evil things because then we could go and we could stop them.
The cartoon like type of humans. Yeah.
Well, it'd be very easy, right? If there was a group of bad men
Yeah.
somewhere doing evil things, we could go stop them.
Like
the same
in a
thing.
cartoon. Yeah.
And I think his thought is that like there is no them or bad people. I'm a bad person. You're a bad person. There's the heart of the evil cuts through the swords of old man. So even someone like Hitler, there's a little bit of Hitler in everybody, right? He's a human being, so it would be much easier again to say, I don't know, it scares you, especially knowing that history repeats itself. I don't know. You can just see how, we're kind of this canon of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I worry a lot.
I did see that the guy who did the Somali thing. It turns out he would do stuff like he would try to go into there, and they wouldn't let him in there. Like he was just some weird white guy with a camera, and he tried to go into these Somali daycares, and they told him to go F himself because he's a very stupid person. You know, if you're a daycare person, you don't just let whether they're conservative or not, you don't let like some white guy come in and film kids. And he would do stuff like just drive by there like after hours, go, look, there's no kids in there. It must be a rip-off, In other interviews with the guy, they found out the guy is just really stupid.
But he was actually exposing some things of there actually is fraud in the Somalian daycare system.
Well, I don't think he did. I don't think he actually did. He walked by and go, look at that over there. I don't see anybody in there. There must be fraud. He really didn't. He didn't expose anything.
He wasn't doing.
He gaslit. He gaslit. Basically people like boomers and stuff to just think, oh yeah.
But he was kind of also asking questions that mainstream media wasn't asking. I think one of the clips from that I thought was that kind of blew my mind too is there was the one point where he was outside the daycare center with the gentleman that was kind of helping him and knew where all the numbers were, and there's this woman in the picture just kept yelling, "It's MAGA, don't open up," or "It's don't
open up for MAGA." MAGA comes to your house.
She was saying, "ICE, don't open up, ICE, don't up." But this guy, Nick Shirley, wasn't ICE at all. So it was almost like she was just like parroting things. And it was like, "Ma'am, this is just a YouTuber." She couldn't.
If a YouTuber comes to my house who wants to come into my, or they came into anything, F them. What she should have done is come out with a baseball bat, put it up against his head. That's bullshit. You can't just sit there and go, "Oh, I have my phone. Let me come in and do an investigation." That's horseshit.
I kind of think that contrary. I think America's built on First Amendment and free speech, and I think that's what's so powerful is that someone like Nick Shirley, or like the idea that individual people can be the news now and report. I think is everybody has a camera. So
I would say be very careful with that.
Well, be very careful, but at the same time, I think individuals are slowly overtaking kind of legacy media. So I actually kind of support. And I kind of maybe stick to the American ideal of I don't care if you're far left, far right.
Yeah.
I just support your ability to have free speech as long as you're not kind of harming or threatening others.
But then don't you get a kind of a danger too of witch hunts? Basically, because all he's doing is filming things and implying them and like saying, "Oh, look at this! They're kicking me out. They must be hiding something."
Well, for sure, but I think Transparency says it best. The only way to combat hate speech is with more and better speech. So if someone, I think that's where you can have your opinion. I think so I just think I don't know. I think it's the tip of the iceberg of as far as I think you're seeing a whole brand of citizen journalists. I think
Oh, okay. So so did you see? Okay, what about you think about the guy who got shot in Minneapolis? The
ICE
nurse.
guy.
Nurse.
The good.
Yeah.
I think
There's the good woman, and then there's the nurse who got shot.
Yeah. I mean, generally, I don't like to see American citizens being killed by the police. I think it's very apparent that these ICE officers are extremely poorly trained.
Yeah.
And in certain points, pretty provoking. I think the second shot, the thing that was most appalling was that just they put 10 bullets in him when it was completely unnecessary. Because I think even I have some friends on the right who I kind of disagree with. Because it's like I don't care if she's a blue-haired gypsy and you don't agree with her. She's an American, and her free speech needs to be protected, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think just the idea of government officials killing U.S. citizens is concerning in kind of any.
Yeah, and I think that the idea of it's insane. The idea of them wearing masks and not identifying themselves to me is
and the first one that he was he was recording on his phone while he's doing his duty, which is very bizarre. You are you're this is life and death here.
You're supposed to be a cop and you're recording. Yeah, that's an insane.
Which media commentator had a good idea of is like that's just I think shows at the time that not only is this person not afraid of it, they're recording themselves doing it and then posting it on the internet.
Yeah.
It's very disappointing. And it makes me wonder what's going on in Minneapolis when we talk about again the Somali stories, previously George Floyd, now these protests. Minneapolis almost, and I fear that we're kind of in a new civil war where it's not left or right geography; it's more cities, urban, left, right type of warfare.
What bothers me too, the fact that Minneapolis was chosen because it's a Democratic city. He's not sending ICE to farms. He's sending them to Democrats. They're basically using federal power to intimidate Democratic
but it's also
locations.
Minnesota, because it's such a swing state, right? The cities are Democratic, but Minnesota has like a pretty even balance. But whereas that is one of the states, given that we have electoral college, that flips could flip the national election, which is why it's kind of playing out because most states are kind of tinted one way or the other. Where Minneapolis is kind of very neutral or on the edge.
Yeah, but that's like in my head. I always do this thought experiment. Like, well, what if Obama did that? What if Obama like sent a whole bunch of troops into Texas? Which I remember I don't know if you remember this. They actually they made that up like because they said like a bunch of people in Texas said, "Oh my God, Obama's going to send like troops like from the UN to terrorize like Texans," and they kind of it was weird. This actually happened. They made it up, but Obama never did. But it was like, what if Obama did that? What if Obama said, "Oh, I don't like this state voted against me. I'm sending all these men with masks on, not identifying themselves, to take people off the streets for political reasons." What people on the other side would think,
Yeah, we've just come so far since the Obama days. And I think Obama, we had so much hope, and then he kind of ended up, not meeting the expectations. Although I don't think anyone really could have. But I think think through what the country could have been if we actually really had. Obama was maybe the last person that had a little bit of Teddy in him, but even him.
It would be nice to have somebody to actually do what the middle class wants.
Well, that's why I think I'm even coming back. I was really inspired by Teddy Roosevelt's stint as police commissioner when he had him and his buddies Jacob Reese just did investigative reporting and exposing corruption. Which I'm excited to announce that I'm the new beat reporter for the Buffalo Contrarian.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, the Buffalo Contrarian. It's a print only newspaper at this point, and we're gonna be covering contrarian things. So. Right now, it's very political focused, of kind of taking political positions that aren't really mainstream. And I'm really excited. I'm going to be on the City Hall beat. So
okay,
and maybe some other. I'm thinking about doing a contrarian sports reporter. And maybe need cartoonists, but
maybe
we're printing every other month, so I think we're going to start my first. Next issue will come out in April, so I'm going to do a long form prepping people on like the city budget. So I think
who else is involved with this?
So my friend James Coughlin is one of the writers. He's written about the police facility. I think Mark Jackson and Bill Jackson are kind of the starters of it. So it's they've been props to them too of starting this newspaper, printing it, and it's print only. So it's a small team, which I think is exciting because it's there's opportunities to grow and contribute to it. And I'm a millennial, so you're older than me too. So I remember waking up in the morning before school and reading the newspaper as I ate cereal. Which I think, the print is the future. It's the past, but it's also the future too. It's a way to subvert corporate and government control.
Well, one thing too I liked about print, like I used to, Art Voice was a great thing for me because you would have all the art stuff going on in Buffalo there. They would have articles, and it was great. That was like a great, and it did bring people together.
Yeah.
From
Because yeah,
That's it.
I caught a little of the art voice, but what were some of your favorite? I mean, the art voice was just kind of arts, kind of contrarian art, but just lots kind of
They would have articles in there occasionally too of
Yeah.
note, and arts. Basically, I could figure out galleries I could go to or stuff I could put my art in, or events that will come up
yeah,
and
which I think is cool. I think especially for the local,
Yeah.
there's just no real local coverage, and there's a couple. I think Buffalo Hive is a new website that is trying to do art. They actually showed up at your AI event.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We're doing some
Those are nice.
reporting, so I think I don't know, there's such a deteriorating on news, especially at the local level, as right the Buffalo News is bought up by Lee Enterprise, which I think is owned by Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
But newspapers kind of similar to all industries. Of you have, dog eat dog world of bigger enterprises building bigger, and essentially Lee Enterprises they buy the Buffalo News.
Yeah.
They sell its most valuable asset, the real estate.
Yeah.
They sell all the equipment. They essentially strip it down of everything that's
Yeah.
valuable and outsource the printing to Cleveland, all while the quality of the information is suffering because they have a monopoly. And I think even I've done some microfilm research at the county library where you just read about the news back in the day and it's just way more in depth, whereas right now you just don't get very which I fear part of the reason our country is where it is because there's people are so uninformed and aren't participating in kind of the civic process, which when people aren't being given good information, they just don't really have very nuanced opinions to kind of the reality. They don't really know what's going on, let alone having an opinion on what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're just we are missing a lot, not having having papers. My great grandfather worked at your great grandfather, who'd be my grandfather, worked at the Courier Express.
Yeah. Well, even when I was in the microfilms, there was the Buffalo Courier Express and the Buffalo Evening News.
Yeah.
And as soon as I was like, the Buffalo Evening, they just call it that. But then it's like, when I went, it's like, oh, no, the Buffalo Evening News prints in the evening and the Buffalo Courier prints in the morning. So actually, you would have two newspapers because right, there was no social media, there was no TV. You would literally be getting two newspapers a day, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. I would be interested in doing. They have those on microfilm somewhere, right?
Yeah, if you go to the public library, you can go look at any really old newspaper.
That would be a great way to look at old buildings in Buffalo or what old streets look like.
Yeah, there's maps. There's all sorts of stuff. I mean, there's an art to just there's something too about doing research, and I think it was just thinking about that demand. Right, clearly there was a demand for news if there was that much news being pumped out, but where did it go when there's who's filling that vacuum? Because even now, back to our point of even my parents' day, it must have been nice when there's 247 and you could sit down and you could get the news, and 247 gave you the news and felt you comfortable because everyone had the same view of the world because that was the truth, that was the news. Whereas now we're moved more towards this individual model, whereas you might not trust Nick Shirley at all, but there's people that trust him completely. Yeah. So people are getting their news from individuals because they trust individuals, but at the same time they're not being the same. So I think part of the divisions we have in our country is that people just are living in different realities, exposed to different news sources where, right, there was obviously drawbacks, but there was positives to having, Walter Cronkite tell you how the world was. It made you feel very soothing, which is right. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah. But at the same time, what he wasn't talking about. So I think my hopes with the Buffalo Contrarian are kind of to tell people how it is. Yeah. And get people to think about the truth and just bring to light. Yeah. Some sort of. I'm still work in progress. But.
Yeah. Oh wow. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I wish I had brought a copy, but I forgot.
So you folks, remember to go get a copy when it comes out.
Yeah. And so in April, I think I'm going to be doing a deep dive into the city budget because the city budget is in May. So I filed a FOIL request, a Freedom of Information Law request, to try to do reporting. Because I think it's just two. Even I've been setting up my tripod. I've got a low light level camcorder,
nice,
with a Charmander on the side. I'm going to be trying to do some news because it's also kind of, I think, channeling my inner bull moose. Which we all should. We all should have a little bit of bull moose.
A little bit of bull moose in it.
A little bull moose in the morning.
Another thing about Theodore, I heard, is that he had a high squeaky voice. Which
I think he did have a,
It would have been interesting to hear that.
Yeah. Well, he was very well read too, so I think he was. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We need more bull mooses in the role, which I
They
think.
do. Yeah.
Coming back to my original story of just seeing that statue and knowing that it's going to direct action with him looking on, maybe
Yeah.
it. And even today, I was at City Hall today, and I actually recorded myself talking about journalism. I went and the Civil Service Department has. They're committing fraud in the civil service system by not issuing civil service exams. So I was able to stealthily get into City Hall and record the entire, which I'll be publishing later. But yeah, Gonzo style journalism. I think I don't know. There's something about me. I'm in my bull moose stage of life.
Yeah. Another cool thing he did is he helped save football. Because I was watching this other thing where like football originally was just like guys from Harvard and Yale would get together and play football, and a lot of guys would die because they were like just slamming into each other and just like getting all messed up and broken up, and back in the day they're like, oh, we're all guys, we're gonna, and he helped change the rules around where he started like there were forward passes that you could do. He kind of changed like some football rules around so that there's less death in the game.
That's good.
Which is why we can enjoy it now.
Somebody there, I saw a good article or story about why football is so American. And I think Americans like the violence. Like that's part of why we like it so much. But they're also talking about how just actually the game of football itself, because it's very right. You have individual plays, you have series, it's broken down into almost like when you think of like a Netflix series, it's like broken up into little bite-sized chunks, and the rhythm of it where it's exciting, and then there's like 30 seconds of pause and it gets exciting again, versus a game like soccer, which hasn't really taken place because it's literally 45 minutes of focus, there's strategy, it's attention, whereas actually because football just happens in short little plays, it kind of feeds the American attention span in a way.
I could never get into football. The dudes at work are into football.
I'm into football, it's fun, but at the same time
I mean not football, soccer. I mean,
well, yeah, I think soccer is great, but just when you think of about the mainstream American, it hasn't a pretty sight. Because I even went to Europe, I actually went to a game when I was in Sweden, and you went there, and there's no commercial breaks. It was very not corporate. Everyone's wearing a little uniform and a scarf. You go, you watch the game. You have a halftime. You go get a bathroom break, get a hot dog, go watch more football or soccer, and then you go home. Whereas like the NFL is there's commercial break every 5 minutes, so it's very much I don't know.
Yeah,
and it's strategic. There's lots of strategy going on where I like that, but when you think about the average American consumer, football, I call it bread and circuses, especially when you think of how much money, the sports teams get.
They get a lot of money, and they get they get the stadium,
for free,
like Western New York built that, right?
Yeah, because that's what we gave them, about $1 billion, and then the Pagulas contributed money, but what they did is they sold personal seat licenses. So you know how they have season tickets where you buy all the tickets in the season? Yeah. They sold these people personal seat licenses for like 10, 20,000 small mortgages essentially. And these personal seat licenses give you the right to buy season tickets. So if you buy a personal seat license, you now have the right to buy season tickets for that seat. So then what the Pagulas did was they took all the money that you and I gave in personal seat licenses, put that in a big pot, and said, "Here in New York State, here's our contribution to the stadium." Yeah. Meanwhile, they have their own investments where they could be, contributing.
Yeah.
They're not stupid. This is where we need a Teddy Roosevelt to come in. Jerry Jones, who's the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys are like the New York Yankees. They're like the team of the NFL, the most valuable team. Yeah. He's also owns Legends, which is this large corporation. But Legends is the company building the stadium. They're the ones that have the vending contract for the stadium because there's a Legends vending component. And there is also Legends memorabilia. So they're the one that is deconstructing the current stadium, cutting up the goalposts into little cup holders and selling them. So it's like, they have this. They're not stupid. They're not only building a stadium to pump Terry Pagula's revenue up, then the other owners are getting in the action by building the stadium, doing the vending contracts, and something Teddy Roosevelt would be totally blowing the horn and fighting against that.
Yeah, what a guy.
Yeah, we need more Teddies, we are the Teddies.
Yeah, and he was a smart guy too. That's another thing that people. I
think I take it as he was a combination of brain and brawn. So he was both those things. And he's just had a moral fiber to him. And actually, when we can maybe talk about AI, I frequently use the spirit of Teddy Roosevelt in my AA prompts. So,
Oh,
so I'll say,
interesting.
you are a New York State, roll. You are a New York State FOIL attorney. Prompt, write a FOIL request to the Human Resources Department. Tone, in the spirit of Theodore Roosevelt as New York City Police Commissioner. So I actually reincarnate him in my AI prompts.
Were there two words he would use a lot of time? He would say bully. Would he say like bully?
I think it was bully, I think was it.
Bully.
Yeah, he fully identified with the bull moose. Bull moose energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I frequently use New York City. Maybe I'll use him as a rough rider, but Theodore Roosevelt as police commissioner is that's a flavor of tone I use in my prompts when writing. And sometimes it comes back too much, but I always like I don't know, the idea that I can reincarnate his spirit in the world because we need more of it.
Yeah, he did cool stuff. Yeah, I don't like the fact that he was a hunter, but I understand. But that's me. And I understand you kind of gotta. Back in the day, you had to hunt.
But it was he wasn't. I think there's a difference between hunting for science and hunting for just putting a. So he was very much a scientist.
And also the story of the teddy bear came from Teddy Roosevelt. There was I guess there was a little baby bear that like he was on a hunting trip and they chained up the bear and they were like, oh here Teddy Roosevelt, shoot this innocent bear. You like shooting things? And he's like, no, it's unsportsmanlike. And in America, then they're like, oh, that Teddy's a big sweetheart.
Because
he didn't shoot the baby bear.
Kind of the redneck kind of ethos was it comes back to his Badland days where he was the Badlands. If there's something about exploring the West and the frontier and conquering, that speaks to the American spirit in a way.
But unfortunately, guys, I'm not going to the West to do anything. Like even if I was back in the day, I wouldn't. I'd stay away from that. It's like, sand gets all in everything.
Where are you with AI these days? Have you been using AI? Or
yes, I have. What I've been doing is I use AI, kind of like a kid you were working with in art school. Like he's a smart kid. I did before I'd research on Google. Now I've drawn stuff from AI. Like I'm doing this new painting with bats and gophers. So I had AI generate some bats and gophers, like cartoon ones, and I'm like, oh, okay. I would just draw them. I haven't used the straight copy from yet.
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting the confluence of human art with AI because I've seen people. I saw this app that helps you make YouTube thumb clips. So you essentially feed it with. Right, you could hand sketch a drawing and say, "Here's the drawing. Make this AI," and the AI could then take your outline and make art. And actually, I use AI to generate. I'm the charm czar, so I started collecting Charmeleons, Pokemon cards.
Oh, cool!
So I had there's this guy Kabuto who's collecting all the Kabuto's Pokemon. So I had AI generate me my meme icon of it's a Charmeleon wearing a hat, or like a little crown. The whole art is. Yeah, it's cool, and I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, are you planning to do any more AI art events? Or infringement?
Perhaps infringement. Maybe we'll have an AI 2 event. Maybe, because it was a fun time like last time. You could just.
It was. I was upset at myself that I didn't contribute art in a.
Yeah, Ray helped out a lot. That was a fun time.
But actually, I set up to be a vendor at the Pokemon Card Con. There's this Pokemon Card Con, and I told them I was going to sell prints of AI generated Pokemon art, which I need to execute on that.
You could tell the AI to make new Pokemon. Like take a picture of your favorite animal, make a Pokemon out of it.
Or H.P. Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft Pokemon, or any crazy thing.
Yes, you could. Do you have any? Does Pokemon inspire your art at all, or you have no Pokemon? Or
I like the little cool I don't think it is. I like the idea of cool little monsters. I do like that idea. I am fascinated with the idea of little creatures or different creatures.
Because Pokemon are originally called pocket monsters.
Yes.
But then there's this. Have you ever heard of Digimon? This is a kind of not. It wasn't Pokemon. It was similar in there was somebody talking about the lore of Digimon, and they said they called it Digimon because the original every file ended with a .mon. So actually, the Digimon was referencing the actual digital art files for all of the monsters, so it was a part of their lore.
I was always fascinated with the Dungeons and Dragons monsters. Now
Okay.
those weren't they weren't cute and didn't all have the same design style, but I
Yeah.
was fascinated with them, and they came up with some good monsters.
I think even what is a monster, right? It's not a thing, but it's in all our consciousness. A
Yeah.
monster, just something. They're not
Like a
animals. They're like a dragon, but they're not a monster. It's kind of this. It's not a species. What is a monster? It's
Usually an unknown negative animal. But
yeah.
Pokemons are kind of fun. You want to have fun with them, kind of thing.
Well, there's some mean ones, and there's some cute ones. Like
And there was-
Pikachu, I think is traditionally considered kind of a cuter Pokemon.
I do like to imagine, fictional animals, like different my own fictional animals and dragons. I'm fascinated with dragons. Ooh.
But it's a human thing. It's not just you. So
Yeah.
why is that? Why? Because Pokemon at this point is like it's a global phenomenon. It's like
Yeah.
the largest franchise in
Yeah.
the human race, but it's all fake creatures.
Yeah. Yeah.
But why do we have whether it's dragons? Why the human consciousness? Why do we like fake? There's plenty of real monsters.
Yeah.
And we don't seem very concerned with them.
There are some fun. Well, there's some fun real animals out there that are really fun.
Like tardigrades.
like tardigrades or pandolins,
Yeah.
which are really fun.
Oh, I'm playing a Gamelon show.
oh,
month.
cool.
Yeah, and then there's free Gamelon classes this year, so you should take a Gamelon class.
Yeah, those are good old Gamelon. Yeah, with our friends Risa, shout out to
Yeah.
Risa and Maria and
Hey,
Ari. And,
You'll have to take a Gamelon class.
yeah, Luna and yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're free. Why wouldn't you take a free class?
Maybe I should.
Yeah, you just had to come to one.
Yeah. That would be cool.
So yeah, I'm playing. Actually, tomorrow I have a lesson with we have an actual Gamelon master that is teaching. Yeah, he's here visiting, and he'll be performing with us.
I would be tempted to do the dance.
I think there's free dance clue.
To be
yeah.
to do like.
Well, I've
you know,
noticed that the Balinese dance is very shimmery and
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
it's very intricate. Every little
Yeah.
Even when I was watching the Balinese dancers, I was watching the one older woman because she's obviously more experienced, but she's just every little gesture is intentional.
Oh. Maybe I know her. Maybe I don't know if it's what I'm talking about. Oh.
Yeah, I think it was your friend when you were there.
My buddy, yeah.
It's just interesting how each culture comes up with not only their own monsters, but own dances, own forms of music.
Oh,
So I think
wait a
it's-
minute. Thinking of monsters, there's one monster I'm against, and it's the Indonesian vampires, or also the Filipino vampires. I'm against them
Okay.
because I guess what they are, they're like just a head that floats with guts pouring out of it, and it just floats around.
Huh.
And
Like a drone.
like a drone, yeah, which I'm against. I'd rather have the vampires who are kind
But
of
vampires
sexy.
is like a whole species of monster if it's like human monsters.
And I know there's weirder vampires all over the world where like a vampire, it could be just a well.
Huh.
And the well, the well drinks you, or like it could be like just a weird, like just a totally bizarre thing that will feed off your energy.
Then you have actual monsters like Epstein. They're just actual human
Yes,
monsters.
And also too, this is another creepy idea. Yeah, like stuff like this has gone on in the past.
Yeah.
There have been like
Probably
guys.
even worse, right? Like if you were 13th century Catholic Church, there's no check on your power, and plus if you're operating an orphanage, so you just, you I don't know. It makes you think of even the reality, right?
Yeah.
Even though we think we know the Epstein files are twisted, it's probably even worse than we know. So it's kind of thing is like the reality in many ways is actually worse than you can even envision.
That's what I'm getting. That's the vibe I'm getting. Like, oh, because there was a autistic girl. She had a diary in there, and that was really dark, where she was abused, and also in the fact that they were abusing this girl who already had kind of.
Because then some of the QAnon stuff gets into child sacrifice. And it's like, oh, they probably right if they're that sick and perverted and power bent. Like if you're abusing children, what is the next step to just be sacrificing them? It's not that far of a.
There's a similar story in Europe. I think it was in Belgium, where they found a serial killer who had tortured a whole bunch of people, and they let him go. And the Belgians were like, "What are you doing?" And they found out he had connections to different rich people within the government, and they never solved this case. This is all could be a whole other show.
Really?
But like the people were really pissed off. But it turns out the guy had all these connections, and it was implied that like to people who were in power, but he was a torturer and a killer. It's just so like the thing is like, is this a part of the human condition? And the creepy guys with power are terrible.
Yeah.
I hate you guys.
But again, coming to the philosopher's quote of the evil strikes through all men's hearts. So even if the rich, powerful people are evil, we are all evil in our own ways, right? We're not. So it's kind of Again, I wish there was a bad evil men over there doing bad evil things, because then we could go stop them. I wish it was that simple.
The sad thing is that there never really was a Q. There really never was a guy in power behind the scenes trying to liberate people. There were guys in the
Well, as I think of Bitcoin and Satoshi Nakamoto, and I think there's a rumor that Satoshi Nakamoto was invented, or Bitcoin was invented by the CIA.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to think, what if Satoshi Nakamoto was some person within the CIA that saw what the CIA was and was trying to save people from it, so they invented Bitcoin. So it's, I don't know.
I like to think that there's a Batman out there, that there's a cool guy who's doing.
Yeah.
I think there was a deep throat guy involved in Watergate. He was like a good guy behind the scenes trying to but this seems like it's just
Yeah, I think Teddy. We all want a hero.
We want Teddy.
Somebody,
we need Teddy Roosevelt.
Which is funny because
yes,
courage is like one of the most universally acknowledged like traits, but how few people in power are
like Teddy Roosevelt
are able to actually show legitimate courage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So any closing thoughts for our users?
Users, keep watching us. Yeah.
Keep watching us, and
you keep using us.
February 18th at the Frank Merriweather Library, the East Side Parkways, is holding an open forum on the future of the Kensington Expressway. So come out to that event as well. And until next time, we will fade to darkness here.
You guys.